Grab some of this, put this over here. Ooh, I guess I can't put that over there. That's fine, we'll make it work. Okay. Welcome in. Welcome back, everybody. Just Friday. The viewer suggestion day. Might help if my microphone was over here so people could hear me. That'd probably be better. We're just jumping right in. Had nothing else going on today. So, John, welcome in. Hello, hello. It's almost turkey time. I'm excited for that. Excited for turkeys. We should probably draw a turkey rugby here. Even though I've already drawn this as a chunk bee. A chunk bee.
Maybe he's chunky because he ate too much turkey.
Possibly. Did you want to draw it today, Druid?
I can.
I'm not in Aggie, is why I ask. I have to switch over.
Okay. Yeah, no. You do you, and I've got other stuff to do. So
Gotcha. Apparently,
I'm just here to hang out then.
No problem. Apparently, I'm drawing on the background, which is not great. So we'll have to fix that. Need a football uniform rugby. Rugby's a rugby. Welcome in, Druid. How are you today?
I'm doing pretty good. I slept in, and but just the right amount, so I feel really nice.
That's good.
But I also probably still have a little bit of morning voice, so.
Can't remember what I did last year. Did I just give Rugby I think I gave him a turkey hat. I think we normally draw a turkey hat Rugby.
Yeah. I think when I was drawing rugbies, I would either put a turkey sitting on his head or swap out his plumage for turkey tail plumage.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking today, so maybe I'll do that. Did you know there is a, I guess it's goat ball is one of them. There's also is it murder ball? I can't remember what it's called. there's a, I think it's a Warhammer based football game.
I thought it was Blood Ball.
It might be Blood Ball.
I remember drawing a werewolf and goblin for that once.
Yep. Somewhere I have a picture of a werewolf kicking a goblin. Matt Perry tribute. Oh, that's true. I don't know what I would do for that. Oh, the Friends style turkey hat, and I understand now. The big turkey on the head. That show was silly. I don't know what turkey butts look like now that I think about it. Stripes?
I think so. Depends on the type.
Look at this Blood Bowl. Dang it.
You want domesticated turkey or wild turkey?
I might just draw a cornucopia on his head. Were those used for anything else besides just table decoration? I mean, were they just a weird way of making baskets?
I'm not entirely sure. That has never been clear to me.
Because it's not like an efficient basket.
No, no, not in any way, shape, or form.
I'm drawing in Photoshop today just to try it out. There's something weird about OBS that won't let me stream the same thing twice. So I've tried a couple different ways to stream this to YouTube and to Twitch, and whenever I do that, Twitch just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. So there's something weird I'm doing that I have to figure out before I can start dual streaming. There's a few options with either buying a new program to do it or using like Streamlabs, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'll have to look at it this week.
A bunch of
probably has pagan origins. That could be. Is Bugbear Slasher villain on the list? Did you put it on the list on Monday or Wednesday? It is. I see it there. I generally... Sorry, Machan. I get frustrated when people ask me that stuff because it's like, can you stop your stream and check something for me? And it's like, oh, all right. But it is there. I did see it. It was a quick scan. It was a goat's horn. Interesting. What did you put in it? Like, goat horns aren't that big, are they? I mean, like, they're like large mug-sized. Just fill it with like meat or something?
I suppose that would make a fair amount of sense.
Yep, okay. So it's a druid thing. Yeah.
Hey, that's stereotyping, and I won't stand for it.
Grapes, olives, herbs. All right. I'm gonna draw one more rugby with the turkey feathers, and then we'll get going. We did drop a new video this week on Monday. It was the Pact of the Monkey Paw. The YouTube short version was quite popular, but the other one no one has watched, so no idea what that's about.
Really? Nobody watched the video?
Yeah, I think it was like 400 after a whole week, and it's like that's surprisingly low. So
unfortunate.
yeah, but the short went really well. So yeah, we're still at 400. Very weird. Go check that out. I didn't premiere it though, and I dropped it on a Monday, which is not normal as well because I was trying that out. Apparently, a bad idea. So we'll see what happens. Jordan, hello, welcome in.
Sometimes I get the feeling that the YouTube algorithm is slightly autistic and does not like anything that deviates from a pattern you've already set up.
Yeah, I don't know. The patterning is a little weird. Because, like, it'll tell me, like, this is when everybody watches your stuff. But it's like, that's just when I stream. Like, that's when I release stuff. So, I don't know if that's valid. What's the plan for the evil holiday known as Thanksgiving? Eat food. Be thankful. That's my plan.
Avoid politics.
Yeah. I don't think Thanksgiving is necessarily evil because it's a fairly new holiday. But it's definitely a lie. Like, that's fine. Like, it's based on a lie. But
Well, you're gonna tell me that the tale of Santa Claus is not also based on a lie?
Well, yeah, but Christmas wasn't always Christmas. That's what I'm saying. Like, Thanksgiving is a wholly recent thing. It's not really based off of anything. It's just snappy lady won't sell turkey,
Yep.
and then she fabricated a story about benevolent pilgrims, which may or may not be true. Who knows? Pretty sure it's not, but that's neither here nor there.
Probably not. Yeah.
Maybe they should have come out of his butt instead of his head. We were gonna try to go see some friends, some family friends, and their kid got sick, so I don't know if we're going or not. So we might just be around the house. Yeah, that should have come off of his butt. Because now it looks like he's got like a giant floofy hat. Okay, I can fix this. Dang it. Okay, I can't use the eraser, but I can use the clone stamp tool. So we'll do that. It's a Baba Yaga rugby. This is what you all asked for. This is everybody's fault but my own. There we go. Turkey rugby. Acknowledge negative history, but don't celebrate it. Yep. A happy lie. I'm fine with that. Did you know that not all boomerangs are designed to curve back towards the thrower?
Yeah.
Some are made to excessively for throwing straight. I mean, at that point, that's just a stick, though. Like, it's just.
Well, the whole point of a boomerang is it's a throwing club meant for hunting.
Yeah.
Specifically.
But if you have a club and you throw it, that does not a boomerang make. And also, that's completely like if you make it sharp, it's a spear. So, I only know Thanksgiving by the time traveling turkey movie. I haven't seen that. I don't know what that is. The most meal you? What is the most meal you're looking forward to? Oh, I'm a pretty good cook, so I eat turkey a lot. So it's not really. I don't really have anything I'm like looking forward to because I make stuff that I want all the time. I'm very disillusioned when it comes to food. Blessing us with prosperous land full of resources. It's an easily thrown blunt object. Yeah, that's just a rock.
No, but this one's made out of wood, carefully carved.
That's just a stick. Now we're back to throwing a club. So I did not know that about boomerangs, which is interesting. I did know that boomerangs were meant to throw and hit things, which would make no sense if they were meant to come back. But it would also be advantageous to, if you throw something and miss, that it does come back somewhat. You know, that's nice. Instead of a spear that just disappears into the forest.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Who knows? Let's get started. As we're jabberjawing. Ham-hon? Can't remember the term. Let's get some color pole up here. Start the poll. I have a list of all the things that were suggested last week, this week, during the week, up to this point. We have a few left, which is good. We have like 17. There's a lot. So I don't think we're going to get through all of them, but we'll try. We'll try our best. Boomerangs and yo-yos were designed as weapons. Yeah, I knew that.
I did not know yo-yos were designed as weapons.
It's a throwing club with a rope tied to it.
I mean, fair.
Female hobgoblin fighter, thief in leather armor, dual-wielding bastard swords. Okay, that's That's interesting. Herb Gerblins. Gotta love consumeristic holidays. Yeah. I'm struggling here. Because I'm not an Aggie. My brain is not in Aggie mode. Or my brain is in Aggie mode, I guess I should say. There we go. That's actually kind of interesting. Like, I use Photoshop all the time, but whenever I'm doing the live stream, I immediately went up here to try to change the color. Up over here. And it's just not there. And I was just like, what? Where color? Where'd color go? So that was interesting. The yo-yo is designed to be dropped from a tree as an ambush weapon. The rope was then to retrieve it. A dark puppet master dressed in a hoodie robe. Comedian mask.
People sure have come up with a lot of
puppets lately.
Weird ways to kill things.
Oh, yeah. I started watching... Jordan, I'll put that on the list for you. I started watching Scavenger something? Scavenger's Reign last night. It's good. It's good, but, like, it's about a planet just full of everything that's weird and, like, murders everything weirdly. And it's very strange. It reminds me a little like Devil May... Is it Devil? Not Devil May Cry.
Devilman Crybaby?
Yeah. Yeah, because, like, the one of the scenes they had in that movie was, like, the original demon world where everything just ate itself. And it's just constant murder. And it was like, ooh, it's weird. But, yeah. So, nature is a horrible place, especially when you are all made out of weird fungus. So, anyways. Okay. Dual wielding hobgoblin fighter rogue. So let's get a good pose. Bastard swords are kind of heavy. I mean, I think they're like 6 pounds, 5 or 6 pounds, which is not that much, but in sword language, it's heavy. So we're gonna have them down because she's not just holding them up over her head all the time. They're bigger swords. They're not like the biggest, but they're bigger swords.
Yeah. Aren't they more properly called hand and half swords?
Only because people are scared to say the word bastard. But yes, they're hand and half swords. I would like to see the etymology of that, by the way. I swear I've looked it up before, but... Does Kermit the Frog qualify as a poppet? No. Unless you're talking about, like, self-sufficient evil Kermit. Because I still respect Jim Henson piloting Kermit. Could you make a poppet out of Kermit? Yes, absolutely.
If Kermit comes alive at night when nobody's hands up his ass and does things, then pop it.
If you could draw a creature with 4 legs that has a lot of eyes on its whole body, and one of its eyes are pink, blue, and yellow?
A Conrasu with... Or no,
I guess so.
Not Conrasu,
It's a little specific, because usually I just ask for, like, the class of something. But we can try that. We can see what happens. Make puppets as a hobby? That's cool. Bastard's an insult now. It didn't start that way. Interesting. I mean, the fact that
It was
there's
it was never a nice thing to say
yeah,
about somebody.
just because it's a descriptive term doesn't mean that it's not used
Negative.
derogatorily. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It's especially in a Christian-dominated world where, I guess not just where the legitimacy of your birth is
Yeah, that's not really a Christian
extremely
thing.
important. Yeah, no, I mean it's not solely a Christian thing, but like
That's a okay. What kind of armor should we put on her here? Also, sideburns? Should she still have sideburns? I think so.
dwarf, then yeah, for sure.
It's a hobgoblin.
Hobgoblin? Oh yeah, then also for sure. I mean, how else do you
Hello there. Hello,
indicate
hello.
hobgoblin?
So not Poppet Kermit, but the puppet from the Dark Crystal. I guess. The puppet from the Dark Crystal is still a puppet. That's like being like, is every car the possessed car that killed people from that movie that I've forgotten the name of? Shoot. About the car that turns into a car and kills people. Many nobles claimed their birthrights through being bastards. Yeah, that's fair.
But that only works if there's not a legitimate heir.
Yeah. James the Catboy. Hello, welcome. Quick question for future references. If I were to submit a character for you to draw, does it have to be a D&D character as long as from a fandom? Is that okay? So, more information is needed. So essentially, it does not have to be a D&D character. It can be any tabletop RPG character that you could play. So you could be. I would even allow something from like a Harry Potter game. That's fine. Or maybe a race from what's the other game called? Like Cyberpunk is great because it has a tabletop RPG version. I'm thinking of Mass Effect, like that would be fine too. Like anything that's kind of I want OCs. That was what I want. I want your character. I want their like a good visual description. When I say like what race are they, I'm really looking for a visual description of like they're a goblin, they're this alien from a thing. Shadowrun's a good example, yeah. And then I want their class, and that's why D&D character is the easiest thing because D&D character classes are great. But like Cyberpunk, Netrunner, that's a thing. I need a visual description and their like classification of them so I can draw them.
Yeah. And it needs to be short enough that you don't bog down the stream.
Correct.
Why
Yeah.
one sentence.
If you want like a very detailed something or like fan art based, you can commission me for that. But this is very much just a one sentence description of the thing you love. That's not fan art. That's the big thing.
Yeah. We're not drawing other people's IPs here.
Correct, yeah. That's what I mean by fan art means no canon characters. So I don't want like, this is, draw me Batman, right? I don't draw me Robin. Or here I drew my character who is Batman. It's like, or the other one used to get a lot was like Batman but this. And it's just like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not drawing Batman Owlbear. So I want people to have to be creative enough to make the character. Like it has to be a viable character that I can draw. And that's why I have those rules set in place. I had a bunch of people just keep asking me to draw Obama, and it's just like that you're not even paying attention to the rules, and that's very frustrating. So, yeah. So no, it can be from something else, but I want people's characters, and I don't want to draw people's Sonic OC fan art. Does that make sense? So.
Yeah, because despite what the internet might have you think, that's not actually an OC. Yeah. That's a reskin.
And yeah, the thing with mimics is rife with abuse because, well, it's a mimic, but it looks like Batman. It's like, you get out. Just get out. We're done here.
Yeah, if you want a mimic that looks like another thing, just describe the other thing.
Yeah, and then in your headcanon you can say it's a mimic, but I'm not going to draw it that way. Someone just is coming out with a whole book of mimics. which is pretty funny. She's working with OK's DM on their book project, and I think their Kickstarter either just started or they're just going to work on it for that. So I might have them post that because it's a fun idea. I like mimics. Mimics are great, but not
they've just been abused.
Yeah. Note to self: don't submit Sonic characters. Yeah. The problem with Sonic characters is that they are all the same character. Like,
yeah.
You can definitely have different things, but the Sonic
the Sonic creature formula is so incredibly simple that they are all designed exactly the same.
Yeah. Like, so, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but not what I'm interested in right now. If you want me to draw you like a hedgehog knight, I will do the hell out of that.
It's going to be extremely different.
It's just not going to look like Sonic.
Yeah.
So makes it hard for genuine mimic characters. Yeah. And I actually started doing 1 year for April Fools. I started making a why you should play a mimic video. And I got like halfway through it, and I literally like almost table flipped. I was just like, "Fuck this! I'm not doing this." So that was pretty funny. I just like punked myself trying to do it. But someday I will. But the problem with it really is like, I like it. I really like the idea of someone playing as a mimic. It's just very, very subtle, and it's so rife with people trolling the party. That's really the problem. But now I'm interested in Mass Effect characters. Might have to think of something next week. Yeah, I've done that before. Like, people have asked for like some of the alien races from Mass Effect.
Yeah. We've done Starfinder as well.
And that's usually what I ask. Like, if you're going to give me a Mass Effect thing, like give me a Starfinder class, or give me just give me a regular D&D class, like a warlock for whatever the hell the giant fish guy is from Mass Effect. I don't remember his name. Garl? That doesn't sound right. He's not really a fish. He's kind of like a weird tiger thing. Yeah. Easy out on mimics. By D&D canon, mimics cannot mimic living things. Yeah, and that's kind of the problem. Is like, if you're playing as a mimic, you either have to be effective at what you're doing. You basically have to pretend to be like one of your party's equipment or something, right? Because if you're just a mimic and you get thrown into combat, like all the creatures around you are going to be like, "What the hell are you? I don't understand what a treasure chest is. Why is this treasure chest trying to eat me?" So it's really, really good for surprise, and then you're just kind of wobbling around in combat. You can't run away from stuff without the party members' help. If you're really tiny, like, you're very small hit point pool. And so it's hard to be like, "I'm a sorcerer mimic." And it's like, ooh, okay, we could do that, but it's going to be weird. It's weird is the problem. It's doable. Am I allowed to provide reference art pieces from someone else who's made for me at OC? Sorry, I'm bugging you. I'm just wanting to make sure I don't do something stupid, to be blunt. You can, but like that really sounds like you're trying to get something very specific, like a commission piece. The way we do this is just like, usually, like I said, one sentence, and then we put it on the list, and then we roll the dice, and if that gets picked, then we go for it. So you're very welcome to submit something, but it needs to be condensed down into just one sentence so that we can put it on the list. And that's all you need to submit. I can understand mimics being an issue, but I can also see people who have like mimic things on them, a la mimic prosthetics, arms or legs. I have had a few people talk about that, like having a mimic as a prosthetic limb, but I don't see the benefit of it. Like a good example of that is like a bag of devouring. I had one friend.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know why I said one friend. Kevin the Necromancer basically weaponized a bag of devouring. And what he would do is he would just swing the bag at things, and hopefully it chomped them. And that was it. That's what we did. Like, it was great. But like, you having a mimic as a prosthetic limb is twofold. Why is it listening to you? Why isn't it eating you? So either, like, I've had a few people be like, my familiar is a mimic. It's like, okay, you have a tiny mimic familiar that acts like the familiar. Like, it doesn't get to be a giant treasure chest, because you're then getting like a level 8 familiar, and that doesn't make sense. So you can definitely do it. I would let people do it all the time, but you have to basically have it make sense for the mechanical standpoint of where you're at. So if you want a little tiny mimic thing, great. It's your familiar. It runs off familiar stats. And then if you want to say like, oh, it's also my prosthetic limb because it's my familiar and I can just make it look like a limb, great. Like, so you have to have a familiar. It uses the familiar stats, and when it's your arm, it acts exactly like your arm. And it does not get free attacks that a familiar wouldn't get. And if it does, you don't get to use it like an arm. So, yeah, there's a few caveats that have to be thought about with that. Because a lot of times people just want that to be, you know, I want this big monster for free, and I want it to be under my control. And it's like, that's too much. That's too many things. I'm totally fine with caveats and like finding fun ways to play things, but
Yeah.
it's got to be balanced.
Yeah. And that's the sort of thing like you gotta talk to your GM about, because there's tons of videos on YouTube about how you play this sort of thing, but ultimately like you gotta talk to your GM about it, because the table's got to be okay with what you're doing if it's homebrew.
That's something I've run into a lot with people being like, my GM won't let me do this. And it's like, oh, it's their call. It's their game. Like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, it's their game. If you want to try something that you're not allowed to do, find a new game. Like, make your own game. That's totally fine.
Yeah. Have you considered about how the thing you want to do might screw over everybody else at the table?
Yeah.
No? Then fuck you. If yes, then find a new table.
Also loves Little Crow. Yeah, thank you. He yells sometimes when I push a button. But I just keep that in mind in case I need a reference for an OC I'm struggling to make for a lot. And an artist myself, but at times of ADHD makes it very hard. I understand that, yeah. I always imagine a mimic character have a monstrous appetite, like a small demigorgon, for example. It's the best a mimic can do to look a little humanoid, but still a monster. Yeah, I've had a few things like somebody was like a mimic chair and it's got legs so it can run, and I'm like, no. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
So it's if you do have the mimic, like, you still follow all of their rules. Like, they're pretty slow, they're pretty big. If you have a tiny one that's like a coin, like, that thing can't move. It's just a coin. It has to wait for stuff. They're ambush predators, which makes them kind of boring as NPCs or as like playable characters. So if you want a monster under control, there's classes for that. Dark Warden Ranger being one. Yeah, and I would totally allow that. Like, if you were a Drake Warden and you wanted a mimic, great. But once again, all the same rules apply. Like, you're basically trying to find creative ways to hide your mimic in places, which Kevin the Necromancer had it on the bag purse and swung it at people. It's like, cool. If you want to use your action to attack with your mimic, great. Like, that's totally fine. That's a trade-off. I saw a thing that they were doing for the Witch in Pathfinder 2nd Edition, that they're basically giving you a spell that lets your deity just take over your familiar, so it can have its own actions. I think that's kind of fun. It's like unfetter the reins or whatever. It's like, go! I was trying to do like a crop top, and it didn't work out the way I wanted. I got really distracted talking about mimics.
I mean, it does happen.
I don't know if I want her hair that poofy. Maybe we do like a one big poof here. And then we have the rest tight back. If you want monster... Oh, yeah, we talked about that. Oh, I'm in Photoshop. I can do all kinds of fun stuff.
Yeah. You are unfettered today.
You can adjust the shoulders, make the hips a little more in the correct position. We'll have to adjust that a little bit. There we go. Do 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 do.
I think I have discovered why Wayne Reynolds does not put lips on his goblins.
Because they're terrifying?
Well, yeah, but also they look real bad if you put lips on them. On the football head with the really wide mouth.
Because you go like this, and then it's like, where those lips go? And they go like this.
Mm-hmm.
We should have a holiday called Mimic Day, and people in chat call out different objects to be drawn as mimics. I tried that once this year. No one gave me any. I told people to submit mimics, and I think I got 2. It was very strange. But really, all it is just like draw an item, which takes time because it has to look realistic, and then put a mouth on it. And it's like, all right. And people always abuse it. People always abuse it. Did we figure out why they were called bastard swords?
Officially, I don't think so. I didn't bother looking it up. Do you want me to?
Sure. I think John was talking about bastards being fine, but also, I doubt it. Like, as much as like, I'm a king now, ha ha ha, I'm sure there were people that did not take kindly to that.
So, Bastard Sword appears to be the oldest moniker for it.
Mm-hmm.
Also called Longsword and Hand and a Half Sword. It looks like it's also a Bastard Sword in French.
Interesting.
Épée Bétarde, I think. If you are French, please forgive my pronunciation. I assume that I really butchered that. Let's see.
The bustier sword. That's a different thing. I'm just imagining drawing a pair of pants with a zipper on the mouth. You could do that. Yeah, I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe you could find that. I might have made it a Patreon only stream because it was just no one was there. But I'd have to double check that. But I did do a mimic day. And where I let people draw mimics, or let me. And it was not a success. Everybody just wanted their own normal thing drawn. So.
Let's see. This website suggests that the term bastard sword has its own root in the French épée bataille, and this term was born of confusion over how to categorize the weapon specifically, because it's not specialized like most other swords are. It's good for cutting and piercing. It's slightly longer than other swords.
So
It
it's a
can
bastard
be
sword because
used
it
one-handed or two-handed. Yeah.
Got it.
So it suggests that, or it says this English.stackexchange.com says the versatility of the design prevented the sword from being specifically categorized as either a one-handed or a two-handed weapon. So the word bastard was therefore to its sword, meaning something irregular or inferior or of dubious origin, having a misleading appearance.
Gotcha. Cool. D&D long swords are bastard swords. The true one-handed sword is amazing sword. Arming sword. Okay. Which isn't 5e. Yeah. Man, playing Baldur's Gate 3, all the long swords you find are freaking massive.
Which is really funny because they shouldn't be that much bigger, because they need to still be able to be used one-handed.
Yeah. I think it has something to do with just like the way the game is
Probably
modeled.
Yeah.
It's like the two-handed swords just look silly compared to the characters. And I think part of it's just like how they have to have the hands holding stuff, so it doesn't look like everything has to be built bigger, just so it fits.
Yeah.
Fits all the characters and stuff.
Which is typical for most video games.
Yeah. Okay, I think I'm done with this one. Some little wonky stuff. I tried to make her a little too beefy, I think. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I didn't want her to look like a barbarian. I need to up my leather armor game.
Yeah, I feel that.
It's all plates, but yeah, that is a thing for another day. Get some wool. All right, we're gonna move on to the next one. We've been on that one for 40 minutes, so. D&D weapons and armors have always been janky. Yeah. There's too many real types of weapons with too many types of fighting styles for any of it to like really fit just one D&D game. Like the D&D game mechanics. Why is a cat scratch this game can be the same amount of damage as like a dagger? It's stupid. So all of that is kind of moot.
Yeah.
I rolled a 7, which I drew yesterday. I'm going to delete that. I remember drawing that one. Female Owlin Hunter Ranger. No magic variant. Far Traveler, no metal. All right. Owlin Hunter Ranger. With the bow. Take out the bow. What do we do? Yes. Okay, sweet. Those of you that don't know what that means, that's okay. That's why I did it. Da-boop, da-boop, da-boop. Whoop. All right, I need a really cute owl. That's what I need right now.
I really like the lesser sooty owl.
Every time I look up owlins, this is like the first image that pops up. And I love it. But I've never found a good one to use with that, so. The lesser sooty owl? I just see the picture of the vulture. A longbear. Yeah. I like making owlins have like super poofy hips because of just like the floof into the legs. That Alan has seen some things. Yeah, exactly. It's always really hard for me not to just make really derpy looking owlin. As is my wont.
I don't know what species of owl this is, but it's very cute.
But don't have horns. I do like the round head, though, so we're going to go with that. Commissions are open, by the way, everybody. People are interested. I got some time next week before we go on vacation. I'm also looking into expanding what kind of... I'd like to do a lot more portraits. So I might do like a sale on portraits next week or something. How are you feeling about the game for tomorrow, Druid?
Pretty good. I mean, I don't have to GM it, right? So.
Yeah. You think people are going to just keep trying to fight the hags, or?
I think so. We haven't really had any discussion. I am currently trying to draw Curdle, my goblin character. I tried to build them. I got their character built out in Foundry, but the familiar system does not work to build the construct, so I've been struggling with building their innovation.
There might be an interesting thing we have to do with that, because I know we have to do something special with the... Or the module might be turned off. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. No, my best idea for how to pull it off was to make a monster instead of a player character, because all of that stuff the GM can just deal with naturally. But
Yeah.
and that would work for me because I'm always registered as a GM, but I don't think that's a solution for a player if a player wanted to play a inventor class. So I don't know.
Oh, because this is the... This is not the character you're playing right now? The one with the little fire imp?
No. This is the
Okay.
character I'm playing currently, or the character that I am playing for tomorrow is Grem, the little
That's right.
Gripply. Yeah. He's a frog. Curdle is a goblin with a long rifle who rides on a construct.
Okay.
Anyway, they're an NPC that I've been meaning to pull in for a while. I don't think well, I don't know, it depends on how many other monsters you bring in. I don't necessarily think we need more people in the party.
Hubris. That reminds me of something my friends did in a session. He trapped a hag in a wall of force and firestorm combo, all because the hag downed their friends. That works. Wait, firestorm and wall of force are concentration spells, aren't they? Was it a team effort? Yes, it was. Okay, good. When we were playing Baldur's Gate, I had see invisibility, and so when we got to the part where there's a hag that shows up, and she, spoilers by the way, she normally just teleports away. Like, she's like, "You'll die now," then poofs out. But it turns out she went invisible, and I was just like, "There she is," and we just killed her. Like, it's always funny when one thing just like shuts off a boss, and it's like, "Ha, easy, easy mode."
Yeah.
If it's in the game, it's not cheating.
I had a moment, it wasn't quite like that, but it definitely shut down a boss battle really fast in a first edition Pathfinder game.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing a brawler, and my martial flexibility class feature that day, I had taken a feat. I can't even remember what it's called, but it lets you coup de grace a creature that's been pinned,
Oh, okay.
so you don't have to wait for them to be helpless. Basically lets you get off a coup de grace really fast. And for anybody who's curious in the chat, a coup de grace is it's an automatic hit 4 times critical damage.
Yeah. D&D foregoed it for just giving critical damage to melees that are prone. Like if you're meleeing
Yeah,
somebody prone, you automatically get
yeah.
critical damage. Or is
But
it? Sorry, if you're unconscious.
yeah, I
Coup de
think coup de
grace is
grace
just
is for an unconscious. Yeah,
right,
unconscious or helpless.
but coup de grace is bonus damage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
on top of
So,
that.
yeah, we were in this boss fight and totally getting our asses handed to us. And one of the other characters pinned the boss, and so I ran in and killed it in one shot.
I said
The,
critical.
yeah,
You get advantage. You get advantage if creatures are prone, and then you get, I think, critical damage if they're unconscious. But with the other rules, if the creature is helpless, you get auto hit, auto crit, and it's just that's what a coup de grace is. It's just
yeah.
tons of damage.
It
Oops, I
was,
have a scythe times 4 critical. It's just like, get out of here.
yeah. Anyway, it was very funny because the GM went from being scared and a little bit happy that they were potentially going to TPK the party to, oh, it's over.
Yeah, I've had those moments.
Yeah. I figure every GM has had those moments. I don't mind them, they're just a little jarring.
Yep. Oh, you accidentally threw the thing that I'm really good at me. Well, I win. It's like, oh, whoops, that's my bad. Sometimes that's really fun because it gives the players that moment of just like, this is what I've built this character for.
Yep.
Like,
Hmm.
now's my
It's my
time.
time to shine,
Yeah.
yeah.
You build that character that's meant to like suplex people, and then you have somebody fight somebody on like a gangway. That was called the catwalk.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
like
yeah.
catwalk, suplex. I suplexed them. Ah! That's fun. It's fun to let that happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Is that the type of Alan's? What type of look were you going for on the Alan's face? Derp. I'll show you. I was planning on doing this. Now that I'm basically done. I can go back and do this. Woo! Give him a little more personality there. Any advice on how to DM a moon druid in the party? They kind of dominate in combat. Ooh. I mean, they kind of do dominate in combat. That's kind of their jam.
Yeah.
I mean, they turn into animals, and unless you're letting them turn into, like, dragons and stuff, you basically just want to throw stuff at them that those animals would not normally fight against. Like, groups of people would probably know how to fight an owlbear. People with nets, people with ranged. Like, I think ranged is probably the biggest thing against moon druids.
Yeah.
People with lances. Like, a big part of it is just not letting them rampage around a whole bunch, because they are just walls of health. So you have to have parties big enough to deal with, like, oh, while they're doing that, go after the mages. I think that kind of stuff. Direwolf is his favorite form. Okay, so very fast, very high damage. I take it. Yeah. Yeah.
Put them
Spread
up
out
against. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Put them up against a fighter with Sentinel.
Yep. Sentinel would do a good job, so they can't keep bouncing all over the place. But yeah, they're really good. Moon Druids are really good because they're getting their full levels on top of everything else they're getting. I think I'm about done with this one. I don't know what else to do with it besides just add detail and stuff. I forgot to give her a quiver. I can give her a quiver. Some of the best advice I can give for people, just kind of in general, is let people be their characters. Like, if someone is just wrecking face as a druid, give them stuff that they will wreck face with. Burning, hello, welcome in. Plus tactics, yeah. Makes them burn some of the excess wild shapes on the combat things too. Yeah, like that's the big thing is basically put things in your game where they either have to shift out or there are things that they can't do while they are in bear form or in shape form. Because if it's just straight combat, like they're always going to be great. And that's why other things with like mages are really fun against other druids because they can start throwing down things just to try to keep animals off. Like people should know how to deal with animals, and druids are just scary because they're beefy versions of it. So you want to use feats and powers and players to exploit to challenge them. Blasphemy. Yeah, I mean I think so. It's a good thing. Like I ran into early on. Because I was constantly trying to be like, what's the most challenging thing against this player? And what I found was that if like a character builds really, really, really tanky characters and you find things that just disregard their armor, it makes them upset. But if you throw things at them to challenge them, they're going to kill the rest of the party. So you have to find the balance of what is the actual thing they're trying to do. It's like, okay, they're super tough. They want to disregard melee attacks. So the characters I'm throwing at you, while they, yes, should still do physical attacks, the challenge comes from how are they circumventing that character. Like after 2 or 3 times of them trying to stab this tank, they're going to be like, I can't hit this guy. We need to regroup and do something different. And now the tactics of the fights change. So if you have a Moon Druid who is just tanking everything or just one-shotting everything, throw that at him and then try to find new tricks around it. Like maybe they need to shift into a different form because people start flying around. And it's like, oh, you chase them. You need to turn into a bird, right? So you're causing them to use their abilities. And it's still beneficial for them to do that, but it's giving them more options. Maybe throw Moon Druids at them. That's always fun, too. That can get boring if you keep doing, like, copy matches. But it's not a bad thing, right? Like, if it's a druid who knows another druid, or maybe it's like a... give them an arch nemesis, essentially. But yeah, if they have giant eagles just swooping in and grabbing the other party members, it's like, oh shit, I gotta turn into a bird and go save them. Versus, my go-to is turn into a wolf. It's like, cool, what can a wolf do that's not just tank? Like, what can you give them that still makes them feel cool, but will challenge the thing they want to do?
And also not TPK the party.
And also not TPK the party, yeah. So I would think about that. Like, if they want to constantly turn into a wolf, what are some things that you could do while they're in wolf form that would be different than just tank damage? So maybe they have, like, you're fighting people with packs of dogs and they have to corral them. Like, trying to keep them off of the other party members. Trying to think of what else wolves have that make them kind of unique. They're fast, man. They're real fast. Your advice sounds like any other way to put it would be, don't punish the player for building a broken character. Yeah, exactly, Brennan. Yeah. I think that's right. Like, you could definitely... The broken characters happen when the players outpace the DM strategies, which happens. Like, that does happen.
Yep.
And it's something you have to constantly adapt to, and sometimes you have to adapt to it mid-fight. Like, when you're like, okay, so the big bad guy just got one shot by Druid's character. It would be a shame if that somehow unleashed a giant warden of goblins that were being held back by the boss, and now everybody has to send themselves as they try to escape the tidal wave of goblins.
Free! Fuck you!
Yeah, it's like, well, this isn't like we're not actually fighting here, but we're in danger. Like that's the problem. They're in Icewind Dale in the Forgotten Realms at the moment. Nice, that's fun.
Cool.
If you love
Hey,
that,
I like that sword. That's mine now.
I'm gonna take that. Just get off me.
Now it's mine.
If you love
This guy's
that
stealing my shit.
Have something that commands all wolves, primeval werewolves maybe, make them have to roll to resist. Yeah, see that I would take that as a hot take, Elvin here, because that's what I was talking about with like when my friend had I think like 38, 40 armor. I was like, oh well, all these guys have firearms which do touch AC, so your armor is completely negated. It's just like that's not fun. I think it's just not fun.
It's okay to do that once.
Yeah, or like
That's
show them that like they fight somebody who has like 8 wolves around them, and then as the fight starts, you're just like, oh, by the way, you can tell all these wolves are under some kind of magical compulsion. And it's just like, oh, right. That's a one-time thing that I think could be fun, because then that could also give them the potential of maybe they get the amulet and then now they can control wolves, which is a cool addition to their character. Or they save some of these wolves and the wolves have like a wolf pack. That would be a really cool story arc, but you have to sell it like that, not just like, oh look, everybody can control wolves now, so fuck you, because that's player versus DM and that's not fun. That's not.
Yeah.
I'm done with this character. I'm gonna move on to the next one.
I also wouldn't want to do any sort of thing where you try to compel their character, because the moment you take the agency away from the player, they're gonna stop having fun.
A knight, royal blue cape crusader, cascades? Oh, cape. Okay, this is just a really long description. Broad shoulders, gleaming helmet, face covers the face. Sword. This sounds like someone was typing something into an AI art description. It's very, very long and very descriptive. Sword, shield, blue cape, knight, covered in blood. Okay, that's too much. We're gonna go. We'll do something, but blue cape, knight. That definitely sounds like somebody just typed it into an AI generator. Not that the AI came up with the idea. It sounds like a prompt for an AI art generator. Here's what I want. I'm going to do some cheating. Here we go. And they picked red, which is going to be weird with the blue, but it's the way the dice roll.
Just add a little bit of yellow somewhere and it becomes a primary color scheme and you're balanced and good.
That's fair. A giggity. That sort of reminds me of how to make instant death traps work. Basically, if you're going to have something brutal like death or mind control, it has to clearly imply with lots of hints. Yeah, it's like, hey, don't touch this. This is dangerous. Don't fucking touch it. This will kill you. And it's just like, I don't care. I was like, well, it killed you.
Hey, how could you do that to my character? I warned you. I've had those conversations too. I try to avoid saying I told you so as a GM, but sometimes you gotta.
Yeah.
It's not fair. No, it's not. And you were told it would not be fair if you tried.
This one's going to be more silhouette than anything else, I think.
That's okay. That's a really good way to handle armored character.
about a player, pick a fight with an NPC that was clearly and repeatedly hinted to being way stronger than them. Hopefully the player wasn't upset and they knew that was going to lose. Well, the instant death curse feel just more like a punishment for the story beat. Slow curse or illness works better than mummy rot. I agree. I think it can help establish stakes and danger, but there's definitely into an ancient ruins the big bad hold up. Just set up death traps. Yeah, I think so. I agree with that. I'm here to free you from the tyranny of colleges. It's time we did something about symmetry? I don't know what that means, Elliot. I don't know what that's from. And with death traps, yeah, I generally set them up in like treasure rooms. Traps are traps, like that's fine, but like the big bad, like this instantly kills you, feels like you wouldn't put that anywhere near where a goblin could accidentally touch it. Like you'll only ever find those in like, this is literally your last chance. Do not touch this.
Yeah.
Death.
Or like deep in the tomb of a long dead hero that desperately needs to be protected because it's hiding a world-ending item.
Like, and a lot of times, like those are very high-level spells, so those would not be cheap. Like those would be the most expensive trap you could make. Okay. Now, actually, I want to get the elbows on this done. Cheating in two senses here. I'm using symmetry and I'm using Druid's method. Cutting and painting. Cutting and painting. Here we go. Ain't got no lines. Ain't got no lines.
Yeah, what you're experiencing is one of the reasons why one of my mentors told me that all sculptors can draw, but not everybody who can draw or paint can sculpt.
Yeah, I can definitely understand that. That was one of the big boons that I had when I started going to school for 3D modeling. Was I could already draw. Like I already had a basic understanding of
Yeah.
of line and form, and like people struggled with it. People struggled because they're like, okay, visualize something, and they're like, I don't want to sculpt, and it's like, okay, and then I could bust out an idea 5 or 6 times, and then pick one, and then sculpt it, and so I would be done with my project before people were done like fiddling with clay, because they struggled with visualizing their stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think I was particularly good compared to some of the other people, but I definitely had a leg up for the design process. Okay, so I'm going to click here, and then I'm going to click here, and I'm going to shift that to a blue, and I'm going to leave it the exact same. I might just do another layer. Let's just do a layer underneath it. And like really go ham with it. I like this art style, but it's a different art style.
Yeah, yeah.
Very much just like blocky, chunky colors.
It's a style I've never like actively wanted to try up until the point where I was like, you know what? That would make animation and also designing video games maybe a little bit easier than trying to do what I do otherwise.
And I'll do this from time to time when somebody has like a very specific thing they want. And it's just like, yeah, it's going to be easier if I just out this pose and then go back in and figure out the rest of the detail later. And here's a cool trick that I learned from an old game designer. The lasso tool can be your friend. If you want to make something look like it's kind of tattered, choose the freeform lasso tool and really get some
funky shapes in there.
Yeah. Because it gives that such a hard edge, and then you just go back in and actually cut out some of the chunks.
Art class.
Yeah. And maybe we'll do like 1 or 2 internal. I think I learned this from watching what's his name? Shoot. Who draws Spawn?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh no. We used to talk about it all the time, and I always forget his name every single time. He has a McFarlane. Todd McFarlane.
Todd, not Seth.
Yeah. Todd McFarlane. Yeah. Todd McFarlane does some amazing stuff, and like all the Spawn capes and stuff. He uses digital now, but he used to do all of it with pen and brush strokes, like paintbrushes and pen. And so yeah, I love his stuff. It's so good. But it's all just like these hard edged lines that I'm like, man, I wish I could do better at that. And you can. This is how you do it. Fake it till you make it.
Or in this case, more appropriately, try until you figure it out.
That's fair. I've been running a a heater basically nonstop for the last like week because it's been 40 degrees this year. And Skip Cat's just sleeping in front of it, and so it's like I don't want to turn it off, but also I don't want it to be running 24 hours a day.
He's got like 10 things he can burrow into when he wants to be warm, right?
Yeah.
He's good.
If I turn it off, he goes into the living room and hides under the chair right next to the floor heater.
Mm-hmm.
But I just have the floor heater, like the whatever you want to call it, central heating. I still have it just turned down because I'm the only one in the house except for the cats. So it's like, yeah, let's just use one heater in here. Makes more sense to me. But who knows? Maybe I'll have to turn the heat on this weekend. Okay, I think I'm done with this one. I could go back in now and actually draw some lines, but I don't think I need to. I think this is essentially this character. Anything I do with line work is just going to be... It's just going to be hours of me doing fiddly stuff. So I think that's it. I think that's our watercolor warrior. Ooh, that could be really fun. Hold on a second. Let's try something. Just for funsies. Let's grab a watercolor brush. Because we're in Photoshop today and not Aggie. Where'd my watercolor brush go? There it is. Let's get a little bit of... Actually, I could do it that way. Smoosh, 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 smoosh. Get some interesting texture in here. Split. Yeah, I think that's good. Before I get posture check, thank you, Elvin Hair. It is 12:30. It's been over an hour. I should probably get up and like walk around the house. I need to fill up my water glass anyways. So let's take a quick break. Let's take a quick 5-minute breaky. I'm gonna run some advertisements just cause. Be right back. Gonna get a drink real quick. Go do some stretches. Maybe I'll do some push-ups too or something. I'm trying to get back into that. I get the feeling that if I were wearing 3D glasses, it would pop off the page. I mean, it's just like start fucking with it. Is there a 3D filter effect? Generate normal map. Nope. Whoa, that's new. That's awesome. Cancel. Cancel. Nope, everything's bad. Yep, that's not what I wanted at all. All right, hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back. Give me 1 minute. It does look like a 3D mosaic. That's pretty crazy. I get the feel. Yeah, we read that. Okay. Welcome back, everybody.
How were the push-ups?
I didn't do
No.
them. Okay. The other thing fun we could do is we could do this. Just see how it looks. I could use a little more white. I could use some bright spots in there. Which maybe you're saying yellow? Add some yellow?
Yeah.
I hate it. Alright, we're not going to do that. Anyways.
It's interesting to me that it looked like your blue is actually a darker value than your red, because it doesn't feel that way with the saturation.
Right. Let's go back to my brush. Merge that down. We are still doing Mootober? Movember?
Movember. Yeah.
Doodle it. Here we go. Alright, we're rolling the dice for the next one. A traveling ragamuffin shopkeeper, basically a sentient pair of discarded magic clothes. Is a ragamuffin a race?
I think it's a hobo descriptor.
Well, yeah, but like, it says basically a sentient pair of discarded magical clothes. Ragamuffin sounds like I think it might be a homebrew race of like animated clothes or cloth.
Oh, cool.
Looking for help, I find new homes and owners that would take care of them. That sounds like a mimic, but it's very specific. Traveling shopkeeper pile of clothes. How do? Rolling dice? Is that a guy's name now? What are we doing? What color are we doing here?
I don't know. I think the move here, or at least the move that I would do, is draw basically a person, and then just make them out of clothes.
Yeah. That's good. I think I'm just gonna make like a giant sock puppet. Why is this yellow? What's happening? Oh God. What is happening? Oh, I'm on the... I got the color stamp, but it's still tracking the background layer, so it's just got the rug piece. That's creepy. I don't like it. Alright. It does sound a little bit like a mannequin.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna look up D&D Ragamuffin. Let's see if I was right. Yep, sentient scraps of clothes. From 3rd and 2nd edition. Cloth, leathers, and metals, often found in the Undermountain. Neat.
You know what that is?
What's that?
That's the Pathfinder dark cloaker or dark stalker.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
Could be. Is this the only song on this playlist? It looks like that might be the case. Bless you.
Thanks. Sorry, I just blasted that directly into my microphone.
How does one look like a shopkeep?
Mm. One stands inside a tent full of wares.
No, that's contextual clues. That's not the same thing. How do I show somebody's a race car driver? Put him in a race car. It's like, it does work. Sounds like you said you get. Do a bone salesman and add a bow tie? Didn't I do that 2 days ago? No, that was two. That was two different things I drew. Never mind. For some reason, I tried the Underminer from the Incredibles to the Undermountain. That's a weird trick. Like, those two things are not the same. What you buying? What you selling? I've been watching a whole bunch of like clips of other YouTubers and other podcasters. I've been watching a lot of Pirate Software, I think is the guy's name, the YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
I like his stuff. But it feels like most of his YouTube clips are people just calling in and asking like random life questions. It's just like, fair enough. So maybe that's my problem. Maybe I don't talk enough about life in general. Like what it's like being a ragamuffin. What did I just do? That's not what I want. You do the classic open rogue with different baubles hanging on it. Yeah. I mean, this guy's been essentially becoming the Resident Evil 4 vendor, but made out of socks. So we'll see how that keeps going. Still need to get Resident Evil 4 remake. Yeah, pretty knows what's up. Part of me is still scared. I'll be disappointed because I loved the original so much. I don't think you will be. They stayed pretty good to it. But there is always that nostalgia factor. I think if you go into it enjoying it because you enjoyed the first game and you want to play it again, you'll probably be fine. I had a couple friends get like the Final Fantasy VII remake, and they were just they couldn't do anything but shit on it for not being the old game. And I'm like, yeah, it's not. It's if you want to play the old game still exists. Go play it. Like they redid some stuff to try to make it different, and not so much so that it is essentially a different story, but like same character, same universe, and I think that's fine. So it's more of a retelling than like a remaster. But they really hated it because of that. So it's like, yeah, whatever. Give him a backpack. Dark creepers, they just wear all the clothes, layers and layers and layers of clothes. Interesting.
Yeah.
Don't they? I thought they had weird. Who has the double thumbs? What creatures have the two thumbs?
I'm not sure.
Huh. I've heard so many good things, and people I personally trust of their opinions. Just a feeling I don't think I'll shake up until I actually play it. Yeah. The Final Fantasy VII Remake is a very interesting way to take it, and honestly, I think the other ways that you would have to have fallen apart. Any other way for that would have fallen apart. Yeah, I mean, like, if they had just remastered Final Fantasy with updated graphics, because people have been asking for that since, like, 2004.
Yep.
That would have been fine. It would have sold. It would have been whatever. But, like, people wouldn't have talked about it. They would have been like, yay, cool, thank you. That's done. That's kind of what happened with, like, Wind Waker, when they re-released Wind Waker. There was a little bit of buzz of, like, yeah, cool, it's great, it looks good now. But for most people, like, because they have the nostalgia glasses, they didn't notice that it was a different game. It's just like, oh, it's the game. It's the same game. It's like, yeah, it's the same game. So, Resi 4, the graphics were actually pretty bad. They're okay. They're not terrible, but, like, comparatively, like, after watching the remake, it's like, oh, yeah, yep, graphics were really bad. Case in point, let me do this real quick. Check it out. It's a Resident Evil 4 bird. Like, the game, like they downscaled the shit out of stuff just to make the game run properly, which was great. It was a good idea at the time. So, yeah, I don't know.
I just found the coolest monster I think Wayne Reynolds has ever drawn.
Neat. What is that? Some kind of snake behemoth? Snake abomination?
It's called an astral stalker.
Okay. The only race I know of with dual thumbs is the Kalesh from Star Wars. That might be what I was thinking of. That's the General Grievous race, right?
Yes, I think so.
WW also has a timeless style? What's WW?
World of Wrestling?
Yeah.
World of Warcraft?
Maybe, yeah, World of Warcraft. Oh, Wind Waker. Yeah,
Wind Waker. Yeah.
I hated the original Wind Waker's art style.
Same.
It was just like, I was so mad at the cell shading because it just felt so lazy and just too saturated, and I did not enjoy it.
Kind of gave me a headache. Wind Waker is one I've never managed to play. Although that's partially because I've never been interested in playing as young Link. And then also like
What?
I wasn't.
I thought Majora's Mask was like your favorite.
I mean, it is.
That's young
but
Link.
I know, but that's the exception, not the rule. In general, I like, especially after Ocarina of Time, I felt like the world of The Legend of Zelda was a little bit too dark and gritty to be represented by happy-go-lucky cartoon style.
Which is really weird because that's also the Dark Timeline. So it's like...
Yeah, I know, right?
And just to actually both of us, technically Wind Waker is Toon Link, not young Link. Even though he seems young, that might just be a factor of the game itself. So who knows?
Fair.
No, that's Dead Link, not young Link. Fair enough. Maybe he's got a tube sock. He just hangs out with him. Hey, Sako. What color are dark? Darkstalkers don't have pointy eyes. They're just dark. I think that's all I'm going to get out of this character.
Yeah, probably.
I'm not really sure what else to do.
I mean, they are just a pile of clothes.
Yeah. I could probably spend some time doing like some cool texturing or something for this cloak. Let's try that. We'll give it a little like 5 more minutes. Then we'll switch. Maybe some stitching. Do some stitching. Twilight Princess was my favorite artwork. Yeah, Twilight Princess was beautiful. Could also do with a remake.
Yes.
It was I think it was right on the cusp of the processors being able to handle like good textures. And really like an indicative style that I think was really good. And yeah, so it looked pretty good. But some of the it was still relatively low poly. Can you give them buttons for eyes? Could. I don't know how that would look though, because that would just look like this. I think the black blank face is kind of interesting. Maybe we'll stitch up his face a little bit. So yeah, I totally understand where you're coming from, Burning. The nostalgia goggles are very strong. Very strong. And I would say that if you did enjoy the game when you played it, don't replay the old one. Just play the new one, and you'll probably enjoy it just as well. Twilight Princess did get a remaster on the Wii U. Not technically. Technically, it was released for both the Wii U and the GameCube at the same time, I think. Was it out for the Wii? Did they remaster it for the Wii U?
They did.
Okay, gotcha. I think I may have played
But,
all
like,
3 of those games.
The Wii U was not like that much more of an upscale, right?
Right.
Which
really,
is,
what it was the original game was downscaled to the GameCube.
Yeah.
And so
I think that's one of the first reasons, because it happened like pretty early on in the Wii U, adding old games that you could purchase into the repertoire, which was a very cool thing that they did. But I seriously think that they didn't actually have to do very much to it. They just dug up the old files, fixed a couple of things, and then re-released it.
Only a dozen people had the Wii U, it feels like. That's fair.
I had the Wii U.
Yeah.
Well,
I
technically,
bought
my
all of
brother had the Wii U.
I had the Wii, I had the Wii U, I had the Switch. Yeah, I bought all of them. I used to work at a Game Crazy, and so I had almost every console from PlayStation 1 to PlayStation 3. Like every console that came out between that time I bought. PlayStation 2, I guess. PlayStation 2 to PlayStation. Or that's not a good example. By the time I started working there, the PlayStation 2 had just come out. And I started buying consoles. I love the Wii U, honestly. Some of the great games are there. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I honestly expected more from Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games than I got, but
I don't know how.
it was still fun.
I don't know how to. I'm sorry you felt that way. I don't know what you expected. some of my favorite, I think some of my favorite sports games of all time have been like Mario Golf. Strikers wasn't bad, but like those are always a fun time. Those are always a fun like pick up, play it for a weekend, and just that's it. It's like, yeah, it's good. Mario Tennis is surprisingly fun for what it is.
Yeah, yeah. I love Mario Tennis. And I hate actual tennis.
I played a surprising amount of tennis as a kid because my parents had the tennis rackets, so it was free. And it was like, yeah, go to the school and play tennis. It's like, okay. Played a lot of tennis. All right, I'm done with this character. Moving on. 7. Roll a 7. A GIF, Path of the Giant Barbarian Hippo, just got lots more deadly. GIF, Path of the Giant. Okay. So it's a hippo barbarian that can get bigger. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So, question. It's not just Rugby who needs to be wall-eyed and have lopsided ears. That's all goblins, right?
Yeah, I mean, most of them. I generally don't do the bug eyes for anybody but Rugby, but I will.
Well, I'm going for a semi-realistic character, so I'm definitely not going to do. I'm not going to do Rugby eyes for sure. Big, but not Rugby level. It's impossible to make the eyes and cheekbones work trying to draw a realistic Rugby. I have tried.
Dalcor does a pretty good job, but Dalcor is really good at drawing just weird, creepy shit.
Yeah.
I don't know how to make this guy look bigger than he already is. So I think we're going to make his hands unnecessarily big.
Hippos already just kind of feel massive.
Yeah.
I've also been meaning to ask, and this is ancillary to you bringing up Dalcor, how has learning Godot been going?
Super easy.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm very, very confident with it so far. It looks like it follows Unity for quite a bit of stuff, and then they do some weird things with the way they name their naming conventions. But
yeah,
I think the reason they did that is to keep things simple, and that's good. So
yeah.
It doesn't feel essentially like Unity has this hierarchy structure of like main folder, subfolders, assets, and then once you select something, you go into your hierarchy tab, and you can start pulling like assets into it, which is the same that Godot does, but Godot does the node hierarchy a little differently, where instead of having to pull things from this to your hierarchy, which you can do, you can essentially just nest everything. So once you click on an object, it's like, here are all of the assets. Unity does it too. It's almost the same, but they label things in a way that feels more intuitive to me than they did with Unity. So we'll see how it actually plays out, but I have high hopes. I have high hopes for it.
Cool. I was actually very interested and excited by the tutorial that you shared with me, because like it the way it was explained, it felt like using the node system was basically going to be a lot like figuring out layers in a drawing program.
Right.
And that excited me because that's a system I already understand.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm talking about with Unity. It's the exact same hierarchy structure, but without initially the node system. I thought was going to get in the way. I'm like, oh, they're renaming everything to nodes, but it's like it's the node system is really just a hierarchical way to then see it visually, which is kind of cool. So I'm excited to see how that goes. Growth images, that feels lazy, Elliot. I mean, I get what you're saying. Like, they do the Ant-Man thing. It's just like, here's big Ant-Man and little Ant-Man. Whoop. That works. That is a 100% way to show somebody growing. But I'd rather just be in the character somehow. And so I think I'm just gonna make his hands way too big. I think that's my plan. I'm just gonna make him feel massive, with massive mitts.
Big hands, little head.
Yep.
Give him the reverse T-Rex.
We're going like Popeye on this mofo. I love it when they call me Big Papa Hippo. What else would make a giant barbarian visually, besides growth lines?
Clothes too small.
Does the... Yeah, that's interesting. I was going to say, because the giant barbarian gets bigger when they rage. Does all their gear get bigger, too?
Canonically, yes. But, like, having the gear be smaller in proportion is traditionally, I think, a decent way to visually show the change.
Fat guy in a little coat.
Yep.
Banana for scale. We do banana for scale.
In Pirates of the Caribbean, it was the sea goddess getting into, like, instead of being covered in ropes, she gets a tiny bikini.
I don't remember that.
It's in what? The third one?
I might have only seen the third one once. I just want to point out that was based off of a amusement park ride.
A 100-year-old amusement park ride. Yeah.
That's the funniest part of like all that. I didn't realize that until like the third or fourth movie. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah. I don't think it was ever actually even like based off of it. I think it's derived from.
Yeah, derived from is better. Thought she grew and exploded into crabs. That sounds.
I mean,
familiar.
she does explode into crabs, but before that point, she grows to be like 2 stories tall, and they got to cover her in something. And a good way to show the difference in scale is camera angle and to change the scale of her to change the scale of her gear in proportion to her, so the ropes like get smaller. Yeah, no, it's good visual storytelling.
Yep.
It's not just me thinking everybody needs to be naked all the time.
I mean, it's a Disney movie, so they had to ask themselves, how can we hide a giantess fantasy in here without getting in trouble?
100%.
What weird fetish can we squeeze into this movie? No. South Park is They still got it. I don't know how, but they still got it. Davy Jones is one of the best movie villains, and I will die on that hill. He's pretty good.
He is pretty good. I really didn't like him at first.
Why not?
I'm not 100% sure why. Maybe it's because when he was first introduced, he felt a little bit like villainous for villain's sake. And then
I love the actor, and I can't remember his name.
yeah, my opinion definitely changed over time. But usually I don't care for villains that are just evil because.
Cough, cough, Blue Beetle. Jeepers. I'm a little salty about that movie. A little bit salty. I walked away from it kind of like, yeah, that was all right. And then I talked to Corvus about it yesterday, and I was like, I don't think I am. I think I'm very mad about that movie.
I think my opinion on Davy Jones changed, like, towards the end of the second movie, when, like, he started to feel really a lot more fey, and it was finally revealed that he's supposed to be a psychopomp, ferrying souls of the dead.
I'm not going to trash talk you, so I'm just going to leave it alone. Otherwise, I'd rib you for falling into Disney storytelling tropes. What? You didn't like the bad guy until it turns out he's not the bad guy, and then you liked it? Amazing.
Oh no, he was still very much the bad guy. He was just a bad guy with flavor, and
I think it was well written.
yeah. He was not presented as well written, in my opinion, at first.
Sure, yeah. Because like the first time you see him, he's just indiscriminately killing people on a boat, right?
Yeah.
But then we discover
that's for the hell of it.
Yeah, kind of the case.
Yeah, I don't think that his motivation for becoming horribly evil is particularly good.
Yeah, I like
it. He got stood up once by the flighty sea goddess that he fell in love with, right? And so now everybody in the world has to suffer.
I mean, he's still doing his job. He's just kind of a dick about it.
I thought he very specifically was not doing his job, or at the very least was not doing it properly, because he would keep the souls of the drowned on his boat and force them to serve him.
I think he was just cruel. I think that was the intent about it, was like, because he'd removed his heart, he was just cruel about it. Because like all the same people still worked on the boat. They just didn't have to suffer while they were doing it. So
yeah, but I think that he is the only one who is supposed to be working on the boat.
I don't think that's possible.
It's a magical boat.
I guess.
Don't think it needed to be crewed.
These are all opinions. Call Walt Disney.
That's true. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Everyone is open to their own interpretation. At the end of the third movie, Will and his crew and also did not have his heart. That's true. That's true.
At the end of the third movie, the only crew Will had was his dad, who volunteered.
I thought the whole crew was there. Is that not the case?
I'm pretty sure not.
Let's see that.
Or at the very least, I had thought that it was implied that they were finally free. Everybody who had been press ganged,
After
shanghaied
Jones'
into
own death, the crew turned back to normal, and Will and the new captain became the new captain.
It doesn't matter. There's probably a plot hole.
Yeah.
Or I'm misinterpreting things.
I do like the idea of him being Fae, though. Like, I think that to me is kind of my interpretation of the Fae. Like, you could definitely look at death being Fae, just otherworldly entities that interact with the mortal realm.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, like, I the way I would read it, whether or not this is how it is or not, is that people who basically either are too scared to or don't want to cross over because they have business basically sell that, like, I will work for you for 100 years, and that's both reward and the punishment for it. Like, the cost of me staying here and not crossing over is that I have to work for you. And so it's just kind of like it's basically purgatory. Working on the Dutchman is basically purgatory. Because the alternative is that you get on the boat, or you fall in the water and you just go to the other side. Or become like a wraith or a banshee or something. And so all the people that he's killing off at the beginning of the movie,
and forcing them to work for him.
yeah, he's basically like, you're gonna die out here. You can either continue to live and work for me, or I'll just, mercifully kill you and send you on your way right now. Because you're being lost to the ocean. You just are. So it's kind of it's both a mercy but it feels cruel. The way he does it feels cruel. And so then I would say, like, when Will is doing it, he's not doing it cruelly, and he's giving them the option, like, openly. Hopefully. He could also be an asshole. Who knows? That entire movie is about anti-heroes. So,
yeah.
no one in that
True.
movie is really good.
Nobody in that whole film is above board.
Yeah. You wouldn't hold them against their will, but I'm sure it's stuck around somehow leave level of mortality. Yeah, who knows? I mean, like I said, I think I like the idea that it's a bargain. Like, I'm supposed to just let you go. You're supposed to cross over now, but I'll make you a deal. Because I guess that's the thing about it. Like, the alternative to making the deal with Davy Jones is death, but, like, he never gave that to anybody who wasn't going to die.
Yeah.
It felt very pirate-esque because, like, he came up on the ship and captured Will, I think, but that was in response to him trying to find Jack Sparrow,
who literally sold his soul
and then cheated out of the bill. Like, so there's some shenanigans going on there in the Fae realm,
which feels accurate.
Big Mitts needs a tiny croc.
Hey.
No, needs a tiny cookie. Why do you need a tiny cookie? What does that mean? Is that a hippo joke I don't get? Please explain.
Hey, Bernie. You want to actually us on our Pirates of the Caribbean stuff, or are you here for just to hang out?
No, just to hang out. I don't have much to add to the Davy Jones conversation other than, I think I just agree with it.
I haven't seen the movies in forever, so all of my stuff is speculative.
Same. I guess the only thing I would add is there may be some assumptions that Davy Jones wasn't an asshole before he got stood up.
Yeah. I think the other thing about, he got stood up by the sea is, like, we're talking about, like, deific levels of shenanigans there, right?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
not like,
100%, yeah.
oh, some girl that I met once stood me up. I'm going to be mean to everybody for the rest of my life. It's like, hello, fellow immortal. How dare you spurn me? Like, what did Odysseus do to Poseidon? He's just like, ha, bitch, I made it home without you. And he's just like, well, I'm going to fuck up your whole life now. It's different with gods. So.
Yeah. Davy Jones was not a god, though. He was a man who fell in love with a goddess, and she saddled him with the job of ferrying the souls lost at sea into the afterlife, and then stood him up. So she did.
You're making my
100%
own point for
ruin
me.
his life.
You're making my own point for me.
Yeah. I'm just want to be clear on the specifics. He absolutely ruined his life, made it impossible for him to go on land. And then said, you know what, I'm gonna be your lover forever, and then did not show up to the party.
But your argument was, how dare he do this over nothing?
I don't think over nothing, but over love. Like my brain, and this is probably because I'm aromantic, or I'm either somewhat aromantic or have an avoidant personality disorder. But in that situation, I would literally have been like, okay, well, you broke the contract. I got all this power. I'm gonna play around with it and see you later.
But that's what happened.
I would move on, not become a horribly twisted person who continues to do the job in the most vicious way possible.
I hope at some point in time you rewatch this episode, Druid. Because I feel like you're still making my point for me. Maybe I don't understand what's happening. We either both exactly agree and just are coming at it from different angles, or
I think that's part of it, but I'm definitely trying to put down some nuance that I'm not sure you're picking up.
Maybe I just don't agree with the nuance.
Maybe I'll boil it down for you. I don't think he should have reacted the way he did over love.
The starting point of that, though, was him cutting out his own heart. So, there's already a little pedanticism in there. Or, that feels excessive. That feels excessive to me. Druid would be an interesting warlock because he gets all the power and just walks out of the agreement. Yeah, exactly.
No.
Kind of
I do not walk out of the agreement unless they do first. In which case, the power is mine, because you broke the contract, and I'm not signing a contract that does not explicitly state if one side breaks the contract, then the other side retains all abilities, privileges, etc., etc.
So if the rules were different, I guess we don't know the rules, so it doesn't really matter.
No, yeah.
I think he overreacted a little bit. But, once again, it's the love of a goddess. If you're going to overreact about something, that's probably it.
Yeah.
But I do feel like that is kind of a warlock thing, right? It's just we had a pact, you fucked me over, so I'm gonna do some shenanigans.
Yeah, Davy Jones is certainly a warlock.
I like him. Calypso's just a shitty employer, probably. That's a good way to look at it.
Pretty much.
Might need some lawyer devil to prove the dispute, but I can see your side. Yeah, I mean, that whole movie is basically just Jack Sparrow, sovereign citizening his way through life. Just technically. It's okay. All right, buddy. I like some of his arguments, though, that are kind of fun. So.
Yeah. I did think it was very funny. He was like, but I was not technically captain during all that time, so I should still have time.
Yeah.
And
you were a bad captain.
And Davy Jones is like, for all of that time, you have still been calling yourself Captain Jack Sparrow. So the contract stands.
There's a little bit of like the whole. I feel like the aesthetic of that thing is everything is dirty and stupid, but everyone's very intelligent, and it's like it's kind of fun. Like that's the fun part for me is the like juxtaposition of the really really dumb pirates and like the order and code that has to be enacted to exist in that world. So I dig it. I really like those movies. I don't think I've seen the fourth one, but they're all cunning.
I also have not seen the fourth one.
I think the other part of it is probably I've had a lot of people talk about Jack Sparrow as a as a warlock or as like a swashbuckler, and like what would he be, all charisma, or, and you said cunning, but like what stat is cunning? Because he is very good at talking his way out of situations, but he's also not. Like, I think he's actually very intelligent and acts charismatic, but like him talking his way out of stuff never really works. It's always his luck that saves him, and I like that aspect of it, because you could play a character that like that's how you kind of explain your charisma. Like you say something, you roll really well with high charisma, and the people are like, yeah, I don't believe you, but then something happens and they let you go anyways. Like, I like that concept of just the world of fate kind of pushing you in the right direction, even though so you don't actually have to follow the word of the rolls. You just follow the law of it. So like,
I actually don't think of him as a high charisma character. I think of him as a higher wisdom character.
Okay.
Specifically, if we're talking of wisdom as street smarts or world smarts.
Okay. I think the loading crew who did a video on his alignment explains what he is pretty well. Oh, let's look at that. I'm back. Had to pick up your sister at the bus stop. And forget not bringing an umbrella. Bummer. He's not ready here today, which is nice. But it's cold. Captain Sparrow Jock is. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I was gonna say Jock Sparrow is an excellent name for an Aarakocra barbarian.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. I don't know what kind of armor to give. Because if he just gets big, he's just got like Hulk pants. That's all I can think of. Maybe you should have had mitts or something. Banana for scale. He real big. We'll put a little bird on his head. Okay, I'm done with that. Let's do one more. I think we can do one more. Wisdom, high dex, low int, and charisma. All right. A natural one. Bulwark warrior fighter. Grim hollow subclass. Gingerbread man wearing plate armor. God dang it. Armor made out of fruitcake with a halberd? Alright, this is going to be a goofy one, and then we're going to call it.
Look, fruitcake is only indestructible as long as it's in the tin, still soaked in brandy.
Yeah. The fact that it's indestructible as in it's not preserved forever. I mean, it is preserved forever, because it's just sitting in alcohol and sugar, but like, most of the time it just falls apart. I guess they could probably dry out and be awful. I think Jack Sparrow in 5e would be chaotic neutral swashbuckler rogue with a luck feat. He's kind of chaotic evil. Like, he's pretty selfish. He comes around for the main characters, but I don't know.
Yeah, he
He's a
only
pirate.
cares. Yeah, he only cares about himself and sometimes his friends.
I think him being like a little chaotic stupid makes people think he's neutral, but he's not neutral. Like,
No, 100% not.
yeah, he's a pirate.
Like, it's easy to kind of like sympathize with him because his crew totally like mutinied and stole his ship that he sold his soul for, which is undoubtedly a dick move. But like, if Barbosa had owned the Pearl, he would have done the same thing.
Why did the previous drawing remind me of something? I don't know. I mean, it's just a naked hippo, man. That could be anything.
You look at a lot of naked hippo men?
Being good to your friends is a neutral trait, but it doesn't mean you aren't evil. Yeah.
It's how you treat the people you don't know that I won't say determines your alignment, but contributes to your alignment.
Yep. He's selfish, but it doesn't hurt people for personal pleasure, which would be evil. Chaotic neutral puts their personal freedoms above everything else. Okay, I can see that.
That is
okay. Actually, there is an argument. There's an argument to be said that one of the reasons he got, and this, I think this is real. One of the reasons he got the brand, the pirate brand, is because he refused to sell like a ship of slaves.
Yeah, I believe that is official canon.
Yeah, I think that is official canon. So like, I could definitely see, even though he's a pirate, like, I think there is an argument to be made about that. Like, you're right. He might not be cruel, even though he is selfish. So you could definitely bend it that way. But he has also, like, he basically traded away Will for his own gain. Like, he has done evil things. So I guess neutral might be the better thing, because he's very opportunistic. So
yeah,
I could definitely see that.
He has definitely treated women very poorly for all of his life.
Plenty of pilots were staunchly against slavery or freed slaves themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, well, also there were a fair number of pirates that only turned to piracy because they were totally screwed over by their government, who refused to pay them.
That's true too.
So like,
and there were also a lot of pirates that were just that were only pirates because, I guess that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was going to say, like, a lot of pirates were working for the government and then became pirates. So
yeah. The point is
soldiers, sailors.
Yeah, the point is not that Jack is evil because he's a pirate. The Jack is evil because he's an ass. Right? Not in every instance, but in enough instances.
And I think the chaotic part is right, and not because he's, like I said, chaotic stupid, but because even amongst his like other pirate brethren and stuff, he doesn't follow any of those codes. Like, he very much, he's like, I'm gonna do my own thing, and I don't care about anybody else's rules or laws or deals I've made. I'm just like,
unless I can use them to my own benefit.
Yeah. So I think that's right. I'm fine with that. I think it was said as a joke between the costume designer and Johnny Depp is that Jack has the red mark on his cheek because that's supposedly he had supposed to be syphilis. That could be funny.
Yeah. Well, the way I heard it is,
most people had syphilis back then.
Most people had syphilis. Yeah.
A bunch of them were getting it from the doctors, as from like giving birth. Wash your hands, people. I watched a whole thing about that the other day. Super weird. Women keep dying after I give autopsies. Wash your hands. That's stupid. Why should I have to wash my hands after touching dead bodies?
Well, all of your patients are dying of the same thing. It can't be from me. I'm a healer.
Yep. That is 100% the truth. Like, that was the
that is the thing. That was thought.
How dare you say these things about me? Because they're true. Speaking of Jack Sparrow, who remembers the old remix video of Jack Sparrow being like, "Why is the rum gone?" That's fine. Yeah, that's a good one. I like the Lonely Island did the Ballad of Jack Sparrow with Michael Bolton. That's really funny. I suggest checking that one out. On my gumdrop buttons. Oh, the memes. Oh, the memes. I like fruitcake. But that might be why my body hates me, so. I'm a fan of, like, dense cakes, though. Like, carrot cake. Oh, carrot cake's great.
Yeah, I love carrot cake. I have never had a fruitcake that I liked. But I have always, I've always thought this could be good if it was made with, I don't know, real fruit instead of this weird candied orange peel and other garbage.
Man, I've only ever had it fresh. Like my grandmother would make it and we'd eat it and it'd be gone in a day. Like that was it.
Yeah.
It's just like boop. I've always liked this art. I don't know which one you're oh, the Stalker. Yeah, it's a really good one. Oh yeah, there have been lots of evil pirates.
Oh
there
yeah,
have been lots
yeah,
of
yeah.
basically like a lot of the pirates that existed worked for somebody, found gold or pillaged a whole bunch to the point where the kingdom they were at was like, "Hey, give us the taxes and or stop doing that shit." And they were like, "Peace out," and that was it. And then we have pirates. Or they like got sick of certain countries like. What was it? Spain and shoot, what was the other one? Was it French? I don't think it was the French. Basically, every country just called the other country's people pirates so that they could attack them and steal their shit. So, like, there was a whole bunch of that. Whoever controlled the port, if you didn't work for that country, you were a pirate. So, pirate is kind of a moot point.
Yeah, it's a term that doesn't actually mean anything because it was used to mean so many different things.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing it really means consistently is somebody I don't currently like and who it's okay for me to kill and or steal from.
I think I've accidentally drawn a turtle. It's a tiny gingerbread turtle.
It does kind of look that way.
Captain Morgan, he hated the Spanish. Yeah, I feel like Captain Morgan was one that was economical. Like he was working for one country and then they told him off. And so he tried to go work for another country and then that country declared that he would be pirates. That he would be a pirate after that. Because they're like, oh, he started working for someone else. Pirates' primary Caribbean powers were England, Spain, Holland, and Portugal. Okay. I was gonna say Portuguese, but that's not the right way to say it. And the French? Yeah, I'll have to look it up. The French felt so behind at the time that they would pay people to cause trouble. Yeah. That's how we do it. When in doubt, cause a ruckus. All right, I think that is where we're gonna call it today. It's 1:30. I'm gonna go get some stuff done. It's only 1:30. I feel like we could do another one. With the gingerbread man. No, I think we're gonna call it. We're gonna call it there. If you haven't checked out the new video, please go do so. Like, comment, subscribe, share that. How do we do on likes today? What do we got? We got like 10 people in the chat. And we have 11 likes. Nice job. Good job, everybody. I appreciate that. Otherwise, that's it. I'm gonna try to get another video out. I was trying to get out one video every week. It's not possible. So we'll have to wait. I do have a video in the works right now. I have 2 or 3 video ideas that I'm working on. So it's just like it's a matter of trying to get them going. Wait, is 1:30? Damn, time flies. Yeah, it's been a long day already, and so we're gonna try to get those out. I'll have some fun with those. I want to try to get more shorts out, and even those started taking longer unless I just do the puppet stuff. So I'm not sure what information people would like to be distributed by tiny puppets, because I always want to do art in the background for them, but I can only ever do that when I have new art. So yeah, I don't know if people would be interested in maybe me working with making shorts out of the viewer suggestion, but I'm not really sure how I would do that either. So it's just a matter of figuring it out, having fun with it. But I'll take suggestions, put them in the comments. I think that would be fine. Otherwise, next week we will do. We have a whole week after Thanksgiving, so I might hold off on the Patreon only stream until like the 27th. I think that'll probably work. As well as commissions are open, and I think I want to do either a D&D game or like an art tutorial for the Patreon members. Not the Patreon members, but the Discord. We'll have to figure that out. I'm not sure. But that might be something we do next week if we have time. I will be gone Thursday and Friday. Wednesday, we will do the normal Wednesday live stream. And then we'll be back the week after that. So we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll do something on Monday. But I have been hanging out with people in the Discord on Mondays and Tuesdays. I think that's working pretty well. So I might just keep doing that. I get some work done and people get to hang out and see some stuff. So join us for that. Otherwise, let's see if there's anybody else online right now to the raid. Nope. Okay, that's it. That's all I got. Stay happy, stay healthy, keep your dust on the table. We'll get to everybody later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.